Hey, you there. Thank you for watching, and welcome to Forge Lines Forever. Today, I have a 6v6 custom match here on the most amazing Neuroxus map generator. So let's go ahead and introduce our teams and our players, starting off with Team 1 here in the Northwest, ending with Team 2 in the Southeast. Starting off with Team 1, let's start with the northern player, then working our way southward. We have in Tropical Ocean Blue, the Cybran of Aurelia, Light, Pa, going to call them probably Light or Aurelia for short, as a Cybran, as a 1300 to his west. We have in Rust, Connie action, excuse me. He is an Aeon for this match as a 1300. To his south, we have in Light Oak Town, Blissful Noob. He is a UEF. He is a 1700. He is not only the highest rated player on his team, he is also the highest rated player overall. Taking a look here to his southwest, we have in Amethyst Purple, Count Swagula as a Cybran, as an 1100 to his west. In Ruby Red is the Seraphim player, Blue Lynx. He is not blue, he is red. I'll probably make sure I call him by Blue Lynx, so that way I don't just shorten his name to Blue to be confused with somebody else on Team 2. I may forget to do that, so just apologies ahead of time. He is Blue Lynx. He is in Ruby Red. He is a 1400, and no, he is not the color blue. And last but not least, we have on Team 1 in Orange, the color orange, LCR as a Cybran, as a 1000 rated player. So for Team 1 side of the map, they have one of each of the factions at a minimum. And for those they only have they have 3 Cybrans. So one of each of the rest with 3 Cybrans. Starting off with Team 2's northern player, then working our way southward as well. We have in Regal Purple, Mythologist as a Seraphim. He is a 1400 to his southwest. We have in Forest Green, my favorite color in all Supreme Commanderdom. It is Caliber. He is a 1600, the highest rated player on Team 2, and he is a Cybran for this match. In Emerald Green to his east, we have as an Aeon Thoughtful Pony. He is a 1300. In Snow White to his west, we have the player of Frost Monster. My brain kind of just took a hiatus there for a second. He is a Seraphim for this match, and he is matching his name with his color as being in a nice little icy Snow White. And again, he is a Seraphim as a 1200. To his south, we have in Stitch Blue, Scuzz. He is an Aeon for this match as a 1400. And last but not least here, for Team 2 in Chevy Crimson, making his way to his Trimax position, is Themo29 as a UEF, as an 1100. So for Team 2's side of the map, they also have one of each of the factions, but instead of having 3 Cybrans like Team 1 does, they have 2 Seraphim and 2 Aeon, and of course 1 Cybran and 1 UEF. And 4 total players on the map. Let's take a look at the reclaim. We have to scoop up, currently sitting at not even 12,000 mass, not even 1,000 mass per player, a little bit shy of that, probably about 850. I mean, again, like I say, it's something. It's better than nothing, but it's not as much as, of course, I like to see in this game. Of course, the thousands, the tens of thousands mass for a player to scoop up as in other casts. But this map does have some mexes to grab. Of course, is that Trimax position that I outlined here for Themo. Right next to him is Scuzz's Trimax position. We do see that Caliber's at his Trimax position. And it does look like that Team 2's Mythologist has grabbed his Trimax and is working his way to his other one. It is being kind of blocked here by Aurelia's little tank there, but it does get wiped out. And with that out of the way, let's go ahead to see where our players are headed off to. We do have this really interesting kind of upper plateau section where we have one player facing off against another. But there are avenues for some nice little sneaky maneuvers here on this lower section for these 2 players of Caliber and Blissful Noob. The highest rated players on each team have to be very careful of any sort of ganks, any sort of outflanking maneuvers. We do see that Team 1's Blissful Noob is getting some assistance from Connie here from the northwest. Most likely a rearguard air slot player. Possibly we'll see another one for Blue Lynx because they are kind of further back. But we'll just see how the game does develop in their regards. Aurelia, of course, is facing off against Mythologist in the northeast. Looks like it's going to be a 1v1 in that regard. Team 2's Mythologist going for a little bit of a more defensive play, going for that T2 upgrade. We do see that Team 2's player of Caliber going for the gun upgrade will definitely assist with dealing with these 2 comps here from Team 1, specifically due to the fact that, of course, he is all by his lonesome for now. We do see that Frost Monster kind of hanging out on this ramp, hill, way to climb up this lower plateau to upper plateau section, going for a gun. I do like the fact that he's sitting on the cliff edge, or pretty close to the cliff edge, so he can fire down at, well, mostly fire down. There's that tiny little lip that's blocking him, so I would have liked them like maybe positioned right here. But at least at a minimum, he can at least somewhat fire down and get some kills for that veterancy. We do see that it's going to be Scuzz and Themo for Team 2 versus possibly 3 players from Team 1 if one does continue southward, that being LCR. And, of course, there is this southwestern corner of the map here. A little bit of water, not really a whole lot of concern. A couple of mexes, not a huge thing, but, you know, it's something which is better than nothing. Gun has been started here for Team 2's player in the east of Mythologist, and we have a fight going on in the middle here. Caliber going for advanced range. He has the sensor package on board, cancels that advanced range, and starts to beat back the forces of Caliber. We do see his teammate of Blissful Noob going for the spam, the Mech Marines, to try to distract some of those shots from Caliber's comm. And in that southwest gun upgrade has been started for Swaggerlet. T2 on the way for LCR. One going for offense, one going for defense. Love to see that, of course. That kind of nice little 1-2 combo. There are some units trying to run by from LCR, but they do get caught a little bit from Scuzz, and more forces coming to sandwich them against this cliff edge inbound from Themo. Maybe 1 or 2 units will get past, but an easy bomber or 2 will deal with that quite nicely. In the northeast, looks like it's just going to be very much standoffish, not really going to engage like we do see in the middle here. We see some possible movement here in kind of this dead zone in the middle of the map. I don't think we'll see much for now until we get to that T3, T4 stage where a lot of units start to be pumped out by both teams. We do see Connie Island has dropped into the yellow. Same thing with Caliber. Connie a little bit lower than him, though. He's almost at that red threshold. Has to be very careful. Constant overcharging here for Caliber does net him a decent amount of efficiency. Bombers are inbound. This won't be a kill, but it's going to hurt. It'll drop him pretty close to 500 hit points. Another bomber is inbound. 500 hit points is on the cards. Interceptors trying to stop this bomber incursion. Another pass does come in. Is it going to be enough? Connie action doesn't move enough, and he is killed off by those bombers. Nice pickup here by Caliber. It is now a 5v6 in favor of the southern team of Team 2, and Caliber is going to continue to pressure Team 1, especially considering that Blissful Noob, I mean, he does have a gun, to be fair, but Team 1 also had another gun, and that was being Blissful, not Blissful Noob, but Connie action. He didn't go for the speed upgrade, he went for the sensor package upgrade, which, again, provides a lot of vision, but isn't that useful in combat, of course, because you need that speed upgrade, obviously, because the Cybern's and the Seraphim, they group, and the UEF, but they do a damage instead of a speed thing for their upgrade. Speaking of which, speed and range upgrade going down here for Blue Lynx. Of course, his teammate of Count's Regular already has a gun, and we do see it. Team 1 and Team 2, they each have a naval facility in the water. Maybe we'll see small pond, big boat action. Maybe we won't. There's going to be no nonsense with any sort of Salems. These are both Cybern players. Actually, sorry, Cybern and UEF, excuse me. And, I mean, they can go up here, but that's not really going to affect a huge portion of the map. So, cruiser spam, definitely going to be a useful thing here for Themo if we can get it up online. But even then, you can see the huge map here. It's not 20 by 20, but it's close. And those cruisers may get to Connie, not Connie's, but LCR's base. Connie just died here shortly. He was the other kind of orangey. He was the Rust player. Maybe they can get to the T2 land headquarters, but I highly doubt it. We do see that in the southwest. I'm going to split things because things are popping off in the middle as well. I'm going to grab this, move this over here. We see fights between Caliber and Blissful Noob. Blissful Noob is in the red, sub almost 2,000 hit points. Let's be very careful to not get sniped here. We do see that Themo pushing back against Count Swagula. He almost kind of got sandwiched here between his own teammate of Scuzz and Count Swagula, which is nice for him because it's a 2v1 action. But we do see that Count Swagula might get out of range. Themo's comm is not catching up to him, and Scuzz is moving in, but he doesn't have an upgrade on board to get that nice little range. We do see that Swagula is close to a rank in veterancy, and Blue Lynx is inbound with his newly minted gun on board that commander. We do see even more action starting to take off here in the northeast. Mythologist and Aurelia, excuse me. Still don't think I'm pronouncing the name correctly, but I will try at least. Is looking to size up one another, but we do see now Scuzz in between Count Swagula and Blue Links, unfortunately for Swaglet, I think this is going to be it for him. There he goes. Scuzz drops into the low yellows. We do see Themo coming in, trying to now kind of act as an intermediary for his teammate of Blue Links. Essentially what happened with Scuzz and Themo earlier, except in reverse. We do see it's a non-upgraded commander versus a gun comm. And Themo is going to fall back. He gave a lot of land for Scuzz to essentially break away from that engagement. Blue Links doesn't want to go and drop his team another death. I mean, even if he did get kind of a murder-suicide action, it's not great for Team 1 to be down 3 players sub 12 minutes. I mean, it does make a difference. Players can come back from that with all those, dual, triple bases, but it can really eat away at the APM as time does go on, of course. Of course, I got to make sure that I put it correctly so that way I can actually see the number. Anyway, we do see this huge opportunity here by Frost Monster. He just shoved his way forward, getting past the local defenses and getting into the main base for one of Blissful Noob's now newly acquired base. He is a UEF, and this is a Cybern base, so it's definitely not his. His base is over here, and he has another base over here because he is now inheriting 2 bases from 2 dead colleagues. He does have some forces trying to be spammed up, but mexes are being ripped apart very quickly. We do see ones that are ringed, ones that are not ringed. They died when I brought them over because of the second comm. Oh, yeah. So he's just talking about why he died and the like. But we do see that the comm of Blue Link's going to be transported over to assist, wanting to protect his base. I don't blame him. He does have a couple PD. Those will take out the initial units. They might get another mex, but I highly doubt it. They are kind of just blitzing forward, trying to do as much damage as they can, but unfortunately for them, not only is the comm dropped literally on top of them, but they don't really get much after that. But this will definitely kind of disorient Team 1's Blissful Noob. He has to essentially put out some fires. Caliber has gained some ground in the middle. We do see a nice little attempt here to go for this lower section of the map. The only unfortunate thing is there's no way to access the upper plateau where most of our players are fighting right now. You can see there's no hill access, no nothing. It's just cliff. And unless you're a Skyrim horse, there is no way you're getting up that side of that cliff. We do see an attempt here from Team 2 once again to just break through here, mostly spearheaded by Caliber's forces, but assisted by Frost Monster, not Frostpunk. That is a really, really fun game. If you haven't checked out my video on it, go ahead and do so. Frostpunk 2 is out. It is a really, really fun game. Definitely did change, of course, things. It's not necessarily more about how to micro individual people and buildings and stuff. It's more about kind of the macro things, but it's still really enjoyable. The way they've done the story is very interesting. They kind of broke it up into chapters. So it kind of makes it feel like it's one cohesive thing, and I do enjoy it. I only put out the first playthrough, of course, being the intro and chapter 1. I think there's 5 chapters in total. I don't know if there's an epilogue, so maybe 4 chapters. I don't know how it goes, but I will definitely find out and post those videos to the channel as I make them and edit them and whatnot. We do see that Blue Links is fending off against more forces inbound from Caliber. Tactical missile started for Frost Monster. We did see a tactical missile outbound from the east from Team 2's Mythologist. And again, this is just posturing back and forth. There's no real actual fighting. Once it kicks off, it's going to hurt one way or the other. I could possibly see Team 1 winning this fight with the amount of units here. But if Mythologist gets some more T2, even some T3 units on the field, that could change things. Of course, the same could be true for Team 1's Aurelia as well. But now we see a lot of pushing in here from Team 2 from the south. And it's not looking good. We do see the T2 Naval facility is online. And is he producing it? Is he producing it? No, he's not. He's going for... No, he is. That is the cruiser. I had to look at the bay for a second. That is the cruiser. So he does have the cruiser missiles started to be deployed. He did build a Cooper and a destroyer. Very interestingly, to go for the Cooper first or second. The Cooper does go down. And the destroyer will follow here shortly. There is a nice little sliver online that's still pumping out shots. But there are some torpedoes inbound that will deal with that here shortly. That destroyer might not be long for this world, but we'll just have to keep an eye on that southwestern corner. Again, maybe not a huge sphere of influence in that corner of the map, but that's a flank that Themo doesn't have to worry about anymore once he deals with it. So having to, essentially, 3 flanks, maybe left, right, middle kind of thing, and you can just be like, I can just deal with the left one and not have to worry about it anymore. You can send more focus on the middle and the right, and in this case, it is the north and the northwest. We do see LCR is retreating. T2 is online, going back to his main base. And he's definitely in fear of this facility. Artillery coming online. He probably here shortly get some TMD. Getting some PD. Would like to see a little bit more AA coverage, just a tiny smidgen. And at least a couple more TMD, because those bellows kills are horrendous in this game. I do not like them. One of the only structures for the UEF that I just don't like. They're not great. They're probably the worst TMD in my opinion. I'd take anything else. I mean, I would take the Volcano, to be fair, but I think the Zapper has really good range, so that's a little bit. It just depends. It depends how many missiles are being thrown my direction. It just depends. Or if I'm facing against a Billy Nuke. Yeah, Buzzkills, nah, not going to cut it. Anyway, in the east, we do see a nice little Loyalist. Either it was dropped off or it was, I highly doubt it was walked over, so definitely dropped out. Unfortunately, it does get destroyed by some Ilshis, and that position is now reclaimed for Team 2. And it's not looking good here for Team 1 here on this kind of middle line. You can see every line is just, or every lane, roughly lanes, are just being overrun by Team 2. We could see kind of this little pincer maneuver happening here between the rest of the forces from Blissful Noob that once occupied where I think that was Count Swagler's forces, and of course between Themo and Frost Monster. Frost Monster, of course, underneath some tickle cannon fire. Some of those can't really shoot because of their angle, because they're a direct line of sight kind of weaponry instead of a kind of like arc, like a missile, or like Triads have a little bit of an arc. They're not actually direct line of sight, but you know, they kind of get over like tiny little hills. It does help. It does help. We do see a nice little pushing out here from Team 1's Blissful Noob. He's like, I'm tired of this. I want more land, and starts to push back against Caliber. We can see he does have a brick online, but that's only going to do so much against the hordes of pillars and strikers. And I'm assuming, yeah, there's some loyalists in here. They're outbound from Aurelia coming into assist. Gunships inbound. There is some AA. I don't see a lot of T2 on first glance. These are restorers, so not great air to ground, but transports inbound with units dropping off brick after brick after brick. And we do see that 3 of them are going to land. Oh. Will the third one land? Maybe. Yes, it will land. Not even 20 minutes on the clock. And things are kicking off quite nicely. We do see restorers being deployed by both of the Rigard Airstock players here for Team 2. And those are both Aeons, so that would make sense, because why not deploy the Restorer? It is a really good air-to-ground. Air-to-air unit. It's not bad air-to-ground. Not my favorite. I know we talked about it in the video that I made with the Duelist. I can't remember if it was his video or mine, but we did talk about the Restorers and just T3 gunships in general. I think it was mine. Anyway, if you haven't checked out my video or his video, go check them out. Really, really fun time casting a couple of games with him. First time ever doing a co-cast, so hopefully everybody did enjoy. And from the comments that I've read, people did enjoy it, so I'm grateful that they did. We do see these bricks going in for some P-gens here for Team 1's Blissful Noob. They are T2, they're not T3, so not a huge loss. But it does make a difference, of course, on his eco. We can see he's at 6,000, so kind of doesn't really bat an eye about it. We do see the gunships now targeting the commander itself, but there is now some flak being deployed, as well as some Perseus on the front lines. Would love to see some Cougars to really chew away at those hit points. But now we see the Restorers from Thoughtful Pony moving in and going after this position, just trying to wipe whatever they can off the map. And large group of Team 1 forces building, and now you can see the environment kind of playing tricks on the formations. They try to line up, but yeah, you guys are down there, and they're up there, and there's nowhere to go over here, so you have to go all the way around, and that's kind of awkward. ASF's being very useful in chewing up the rest of those gunships here for Team 1. We do see 2 air players as well for Team 1, that being Blue Lynx and Blissful Noob. No, sorry, Blissful Noob. Let's say Blissful Lynx or something, but maybe that's from Blue Lynx over there. We do see the cruiser missile spam is underway, going after the T2 Naval Headquarters. And there are some TMD on the shoreline, but they're only able to get so many missiles. We do see that the destroyer is... sorry, that's a Cooper, excuse me, not a destroyer. The cruisers are very well protected here, and that facility is trying to stay online. Looks like there are some hives nearby trying to assist it as much as possible, but eventually that facility will go down. It just depends if those cruisers are taken offline or not. In the middle, fighting back here from Team 2's Caliber and Frost Monster pushing in. We have a lot of T2 Ilshis, T3 Bricks. Love the combination. Lots of fire rate on board both of them. Would love to see maybe a little bit more tankier unit, maybe Otham or something, not necessarily because of the fire rate, but because you really want some more impactful damage per shot. It just depends on what you're facing. It looks like it's going to be Percy's primarily shortly here for Team 1's Blitz for Noob, so you really just got to blitz them down as fast as possible, which, again, Tickle Cannons, not great for that. Oblivions and Triads, good for that kind of sort of thing. And, you know, Utashada's not bad too, but in just terms of, you know, raw power, you just want to punch through the hit points as fast as possible, and the Percy's do that. But their fire rate sucks. It's abysmal. So that is the trade-off. As always, there's always a trade-off in this game. You don't get anything for free, and if it was for free, it's probably not worth it. Anyway, in the northeast, there was an attempt to go after this Trimix position, but there's a decent amount of flak and more possibly building all the time. And these little bangers are just going to sit there, hang out, and guard those 3 T2 mexes that are being ringed right now, just to get some more mass out of those extractors. We do see that this force is continuing to push back. Again, it's primarily T1 and T2, but now T3, now Titans and Perseus augmenting this force. And with most of those units now dead in terms of the T1s and T2s, now they can really shine dealing with those bricks. On a 1v1 fight, the brick will win every day of the week, regardless if the Titan has a shield or not. But with the Percy in tow, yeah, that's not looking good here for Caliber. He's sending units in to die, but again, he's chipping away at Blissful Noob's forces. It does give a little bit of mass donation, air quotes. I say air quotes because it just depends if Caliber and Frost Monster can keep the units there or not. If they can, it's not really a mass dump. If they can't, then it kind of is, but it's not as much as like a T4 unit would be. Which, speaking of which, is anybody building any sort of thing like that? We do see the attack in the northeast has now commenced. Lots of Utashada T2PD are online. Lots of missiles as well. We do see a tiny little wall section to kind of just divert some of those units from Team 1 around. Of course, pathfinding makes it so they want to go around. That's why you don't want to wall something off entirely. You kind of want to force them into a nice little corridor, kind of like tower defense games. Depends on the tower defense game that you're playing, but most of the time you build walls, you build some towers, and you just be like, okay, funnel into this corridor and die, please. Thank you. Make ASF, says Caliber, talking to Thoughtful Pony, saying, hey, I know you're building restorers, but we need ASF. I don't blame him. Then win air. Yeah, I do understand that, and in his defense, I know he really likes the restorer. They have a lot of HP. They have a lot of missiles on board, those for anti-air capabilities. But the ASFs are faster, they're able to respond better, and they're cheaper. So that is the thing. But again, it is nice to have a mix, though, especially being an Aeon air player. So maybe like a 2-1 scenario with 2 ASFs and 1 gunship and kind of teeter back and forth kind of thing. We do see that those restorers are going up for possibly a fight with the ASFs from Team 1 and the ASFs from Team 2 as well. Scuzz is sitting here. The gunships are going to go in first, and then the ASFs go in. Then the ASFs for Team 1's Blissful Noob come in. So the restorer is going to take a lot of the initial shots inbound. And then, of course, we see more and more restorers added to the pile. Now you can kind of see where the advantage and disadvantage lies between those ASF groupings. Once the ASFs are dealt with from Team 2, now the restorers are kind of just a big, hulking, slow target. And even though they have good AA on board, they can't defend against the power of that magnitude. And Team 1 will win air for the time being. And that will be a nice little win for them. They're kind of losing on a couple of lands, especially in the southwest. Look at the devoid, orange to color orange and light oak tan, everything over here. The cruiser missiles, of course, are now out of range, so my estimation on their range a little exaggerated. They got right to here, and that's maybe you can eke out a little bit more, but not by much. It's not really worth it. Of course, it does provide some AA coverage for the southwest, so that's always nice to have, but essentially those units are just going to sit there and hang out and not do much. But, they can sit there and provide AA, so they'll do something, but not a lot. In the middle, another land fight occurs. Wall section is being established to prevent any sort of incursions down this kind of lower, depressed area of the map. Probably needs to get some on some antidepressants or something. Anyway, for Team 1, at 25 minutes almost on the clock, Team 1 has lost 2 players. They have 4 players remaining, that being Count Swagula and Connie Action. Team 2 has lost to nobody, so it's a 6v4. Team 2 is barely ahead in the mass game, 1.3k versus 1.2k. Map control does favor Team 2, but only slightly. It's more about essentially the mexes that Team 1 has lost. We'll see if Team 1 skyrockets the eco elsewhere. And in terms of standing out players for eco, of course, we have Blissful Noob on triple base at almost 500 mass per second. And then Blue Link's almost at 300. Team 2 doesn't have anybody over 300, but they have 3 players at 250 and above. So realistically staying on par with their opponents. Let me know down in the comments who you think is going to currently win this game. Of course, if you haven't done so already, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Thank you so very much, as always, for watching to this point in the video. And we're about halfway through, so you might as well watch till the end, because you got to find out what happens, right? We do see that those cruisers are being bombarded by brick fire, and they do fall back. So that's at least good, but they weren't really doing a whole lot to begin with. But, you know, trying to kill out some AA is always a good thing to do if your APM can manage it. Scuzz going for T3. Down there, Aurelia builds an experimental. I saw a green dot running around. There's a monkey load online for Caliber in the east. I don't see anything as of yet. More air grid. More air grid. Ooh. Ooh, okay. So the one thing I will point out for Scuzz, that is very volatile. It's in a box. Boxes are bad for volatile explosions because it's just easy cascade. Easy cascade. Very dangerous thing to do. If Team 1 gets artillery online, that air grid is dead. It is DED. It is not coming back. It is gone like the wind. Or gone like whatever other disaster, Chernobyl, whatever disaster you want to label it as. Anyway, we do see in the northeast, of course, we saw that Aurelia built an experimental, that is Monkey Lord. Second Monkey Lord about to be in the yellow here shortly. So this will kind of shake things up here for Mythologist. If he gets an experimental line, that will definitely help. He started his chicken. Ooh, that's not going to look good. This position might just fall due to the monkey itself. There is no support, though, nearby, so that will be a benefit to him, but that monkey's going to do a lot of damage. There are restorers nearby that can assist. Looks like they're moving in to do so. There's some AA, and it does look like Team 2's Thoughtful Pony has now transitioned to at least part of his Air Force to ASFs. Love to see that because they desperately need it to face off the ones from Team 1. ASFs, don't go in for this Colossus. I understand why you would, but that's just going to be more ASFs dead for Team 2 and a bigger, wider gap for Team 1 to continue pushing forward. Of course, there's a lot of bombers here. You really want to deal with that, of course, but it's not worth the ASF loss. You might as well just turn the Colossus around, get it underneath some AA coverage. Down the middle, of course, we have multiple experimentals now popping off. It's only when, you know, I get distracted for 2 moments that stuff kicks off very, very quickly. Ravage is being built to deal with the monkey in the northeast. The monkey does hold with the assistance of those restorers. Great job there here from Thoughtful Pony to assist the front line from Mythologist. He actually fell back. I don't blame him. Doesn't want to be killed very easily by said monkey. Speaking of monkey, of course, the monkey keeps charging in, and the Colossus is pushing, going after T3 mexes underneath Tickle Cannon fire, and a host of T1 spam. Look at the nonsense over here. Probably 80-something units in T1, if not 100. T3 land facility is the target. Will knock out his brick production and knocking out the pigeons as well. The monkey is defeated in the east. The SMD is saved. Of course, it doesn't have anything loaded, but the Mex is gone. So nice little mass dump for Team 1. Desperately going to need that. And again, same story over here. Not as big of a square in terms of the air grid. It's not as cascadey. This one is looking pretty, actually not bad, because there's a shield cutting out the middle of it, so it has some protection. So I do love the forethought here from Blissful Noob to at least get some sort of shielding for his air grid. Again, it's not as square as this one is, which is very square. And I get it, adjacency, cut costs, I get it. But again, artillery, a couple of strat bombers, tactical missiles, something, and bye-bye air grid. So just, you know, food for thought, or penny for your thoughts, or whatever metaphor you want to use for food and pennies and thoughts and whatever. Mythologist builds an experimental. That's the chicken we saw him started earlier. We do see still these units down here for Team 1's Blissful Noob. Yeah, it's nice to have them down there, but they're not that useful. We do see these ones over here a little bit more useful. pumping out missiles to deal with Mythologist's position. We do see another Monkey Lord, and he's like, nope, I don't have the support, I don't have the units, I don't have the PD. See ya, bye. But I do have a chicken, and that is inbound, and that is what he's going to hide behind, because that's what I would do, because why the heck not? The bomber, though, almost online for Blue Links, and I just really, I'm not trying to side with Team 1 to Team 2 or anyway, but I really, really want to see that air grid go up in flames. There is a shield. Love to see that. He's building a nuke. At least it's not connected to the air grid. I do appreciate that. It's underneath some sort of coverage, but not that much. Not that much coverage. There are a lot of ASFs and a lot of interceptors as well, so they can intercept, speaking of intercept, the bomber, but it's just going to depend how Team 1 uses it. If they use it over here, I don't think it'll be as effective. Taking out a huge air grid would be not necessarily a game-winning move, but a move towards victory at a minimum. And at this point, I'm kind of zooming in on the same thing I already have on the right side of the screen, so I'm just going to do that. In terms of the reclaim on the map, we started out 11,000 or so. Now we're at 100,000. A lot of it, of course, where you'd expect it in the main land incursion areas. Decent amount in the water, as well as, of course, the big chunk being in the main base up here with that Colossus and a couple of chickens, or monkeys, I should say, because that chicken is not dead. We do see some engineers try to get dropped off, but that's not... Well, if they don't die, then that's something, but I highly doubt they're going to stay there for long. I hear some Team D firing over here to the west. Lots of zappers dealing with those cruisers, but this is just a target for Team 2 to fire at, and that's really passive. Team 1 built a lot of Team D, and it's not going to last super long. There are some bricks, but there's a lot of T2, Team 1 units here, and that base doesn't look like it's going to go well. But there is that bomber inbound. Going to go for not really a big target, just a lot of land spam, and we'll get most of it. Maybe we'll see some friendly fire damage. Yes, one brick does go down, and now Team 2, of course, knows about the bomber if they're paying attention. That doesn't need to be on screen anymore. Chicken in the east charges forward, does die to PD and monkey fire. Does the monkey get out of range is the important question. Will it get out of range? And it will. Good for that monkey, because that monkey was DOD if it did not move a couple more meters over. We do see in the east, Mythologist's base not feeling good. And this is a great use of territory, great use of map. It's going to be very difficult for PD to target these group of units. You would need artillery. These units, of course, are not line of sight. They're... Oh, shoot. I had a viewer or two commented, like, this is the word for those types. The indirect fire. Ah, there it is. Indirect fire units. You don't have to be looking directly at your target to fire. And it's very useful for that regard. Ooh, great grouping there from that bomber. Going for a ton of T3 support here from that Megalith, and Caliber got a lot of kills there, sitting at 79, of course, with the second bomb. At least I'm assuming it's the second bomb, and 1-star veterancy, so 10% more hit points, which means survivability, survivability, survivability. So maybe that will be Team 1's big ticket into the base destruction. We do see tons of interceptors waiting to shine, and here they go, but they don't really engage that well. And now here we see the ASFs from Team 2's other airplay of Thoughtful Pony. Not really engaged that well. It's just not going well here for Team 2's air coordination. And that is the one hard thing to do with air players, 2, 3, 6 of them, 8 of them, is that if each player has their own ASFs, you can't think ahead of what, you know, is your teammate going to turn left or right or go straight or whatever the case may be. So having them transition or transfer everything over to one player, and then maybe have the other players have like some units or gunships or something to kind of micro those would be more efficient than trying to like micro 2 different air forces. I mean, that goes for both teams. You can easily transfer it over, hand over the deities, not worry about it, go do something else. We do see that nuke is finished, and it is the third loaded? About a third loaded, yeah. Do you see there is that bomber still running around, and now that Monkey Lord getting into the main production spam facilities here for not Thoughtful, but for Mythologist. Thoughtful's ASFs are hanging out next to him, and he's looking not great over here. Those missiles really tore him a new one over there. He's going to have to be very careful with how much he pushes in. And again, as a reminder, Team 2 has not lost a player. Team 1's player, a Blissful Noob, at 600 plus mass, but we do see 300s, 400s starting to appear here for Team 2. So that mass differential has not necessarily skyrocketed, but it has widened significantly. It used to be about 100, 150 or so, because we don't know the exact numbers. But we're sitting at a roughly 400, maybe 450 mass more for Team 2 versus Team 1. That's starting to be dangerous. Gunships being spammed up when you don't have air control or high numbers of ASFs versus your opponent. Not the best thing, especially with a lot of AA. Team 1, specifically Aurelia, has already shown that they have already a lot of AA units online and are pumping more of them out all the time. Sending gunships in maybe to get a kill or two, but it's just throwing mass that you don't really need to throw. The monkey and the chicken, that's a more impactful fight. Of course, there are some bricks inbound. The monkey will dodge that little slow ball, but it will not dodge the second one. The monkey will die. There it goes. The chicken does get a rank in veterancy, just barely. I think the bricks have enough firepower to shoot through the rest of the HP. It's going to be close if the AoE on board those weapons is wide enough. Those two go down. 6,000. It's going to be close, but that chicken might go down. But still, Mythologist essentially knocked out of the game for now. Doesn't really have a lot to his name, but he still has something, but it's not as what he once did have. That bomber is going to get a cousin or a partner or sibling or something, stepsister, something from the same manufacturer of Blue Links. So there's going to be two of those bombers running around. My favorite air unit in the game. Pretty design. Very interesting design. I like the Seraphim, kind of like it hovers, kind of like, you know, futuristic. Even though this is like 1,000+ years in the future, it's still futuristic. Futuristic. Air quotes again over all of that. And I just love the design. There is the second one. It is done. So now he has two of them. He could send each one to each air grid for Team 2 and devastate this one and punch a hole in this one. Donut has been started for Thoughtful Pony. He has his own nuke. So both of the Aeon air players for Team 2 have gone for nukes. So 2 nukes for Team 2. One of them is about to be loaded. One of them is also 2 of them are about to be loaded. If Team 1 has not scouted this, that could be a 1-2 punch. They do know about that one. They do know about that one. So both of the nukes are spotted by Team 1. Do they have adequate SMDs? No. It's loaded. It's not there, but it's loaded. Sorry, it is there, but it isn't loaded. This one is almost loaded. I know we had this one here. This one is loaded. This might be the target. And there is an SMD over there. Nuke is out of the chute. Where's it going? Someone's about to say kaboom if it does land, which would be me. That'd be the person who's saying kaboom. And now we see a Fat Boy online for Blissful Noob. And another donut. Lots of air experimentals. If we see the bug, that'll be all 3 of them. I do not count the satellite as an air unit, even though it does fly in the air, even though it does have a laser that can shoot at stuff on the ground. And yes, it has vision and all that stuff. You destroy it by taking out the satellite station, essentially, which makes sense, I guess. The second nuke also gets launched. It's going after the western side for LCR. That's not going to feel good, especially because he's been bombarded by missile fire for a long time now. ASF fight possible will happen. And SMD does get loaded and does fire. Great move here by Blue Links. He spam loads it with his SACU. No, sorry, not SSU, his ACU, and just barely makes it. It would have been a dead base. This SMD will come online here shortly and prevent the next nuke that will get launched possibly at those 2 bases. Or, well, his base and that base. So, yeah, 2 bases. And those bombers still flying around. Now, what's interesting, we see Blissful Noob not only taking advantage of the lower section of the map here by using a bunch of missiles that have indirect fire capabilities, but he's also producing a bunch of AA, which, I mean, yeah, ground units can fire at, but it's not as effective to do that just because they have to fire down and not what's on their same level, and sometimes the shots will miss, sort of thing. Caliber finishes an experimental, most likely a monkey or crab. It is a monkey, and the bomb does land over here. Donut over top, ripping apart a chicken, excuse me. That thing's not going to feel good. Both bombers going to pass for another bombing run, possibly, and decide against it. Essentially, the chicken is badly damaged. Lots of AA, though, underneath this. The shield on board. The Tsar not feeling too hot. The hit points actually take a hit there. Hit points take a hit. That's what they're for. And the air fight does commence here between these 4 air forces. There's a lot of blue ASFs. The red ASFs starting to lose count. Green ASFs coming in. There are some interceptors low on fuel, but that's something, I guess. And the ASFs are going to go for the donut. The donut going to activate its laser. No, it doesn't, and there it goes. Team 1 loses a donut. It's on their side of the map. That's something, which is better than nothing. We did see the gunships here from Team 2's Thoughtful Pony take out a crab that Team 1's probably going to reclaim pretty easily. And most of those cruisers have now been dealt with by Team 1, so the cruiser threat isn't a huge issue as it once was, which it wasn't going to be a huge issue, but it was still going to be annoying, which, again, annoying can make the difference between victory and defeat, but it's usually a bunch of annoying things. It's like death by 1,000 cuts versus one just baseball, scalpel, slam, or cut, or whatever the case may be, depending on if you're precise or just blunt force trauma to the head. I describe it like the Scathis is very blunt because it just throws a bunch of fire everywhere, and the Mavor is like a scalpel. It's like this thing dies. This thing dies. And then the Scathis is like, a bunch of stuff just get hit. This is essentially that's how I think of them. Now, what would be really funny is if there's a Fat Boy built down here. That'd be really funny. I highly doubt that's going to happen. Watch that actually happen, but that'd be very funny. If it does, of course, Team 1's going to reclaim that donut because it's on their side of the map. Why the heck not? It was built by Blissful Noob. Blissful Noob's already sending engineers to scoop it up, so why not? We do see that crab does get defeated by the horde of gunships from Team 2's Spectres, and, of course, a couple of monkeys to boot as well. And that the triangles are getting more and more pronounced here for Team 2. Lots of spy planes, of course, for some intelligence gathering. But Team 2 is definitely in the lead for ASF control, especially after that huge air fight. There is a donut that is being built. I think it says no on it, so somebody doesn't like the idea. But 150 ASFs plus 70 gunships, 34 spy planes. Love the count of spy planes there. You will see everything unless there's huge AA coverage. 168, 1 Restorer, 101. Thinking Dalmatians, but interceptors, bingo on fuel, and then more interceptors, and 160. So about 300 plus ASF for Team 2 in total. Blissful Noob sitting at 62 with a couple of bingo on fuel, and Blue Lynx sitting at 42. So that's it's essentially a 2-to-1 advantage, which is really, really big. Team 1 has to be very careful with those two bombers. That pass might not be great. He's got to send them back immediately. The ASFs have found their mark. They're going for it. Are they just going to commit to the losses? That's a lot of AA coverage. They're flying through. They've almost caught up with those bombers. Team 1's Blue Lynx sends his ASFs in, and they're going to go after one of... Oh, that's bad turn. They went to the right instead of the left. This one was really weak. They turn back left. They get one of the bombers. The other group of ASFs come in, and now it's another air fight, and this bomber goes down. That was already landed. It's like, I'm going to die. Just let me die on the ground. Don't worry about it. I'll just take the hit, be done with it. Both of the air experimentals for those bombers are down for Team 1. Huge losses, though, for Team 2. I definitely say Team 2 is still in the lead for ASF count. Now we see Aurelia going for ASF production as well. Nuke is inbound. SMD is loaded. Fires it out of the air. And there it goes. But land fight does occur down this kind of northwestern, midwest, whatever you want to call this area of the map. We do see a force down here for Thema. We haven't heard a lot or seen a lot from him in a while. Oh, wow. Sir, I get it. You want to be protected from air. But 70 SAM sites. It's a lot of SAM sites in one little small location. Another nuke launching here for Team 2. That's now outbound from the other Aeon player of Scuzz. The one from Thoughtful Pony already got taken out. It's going for the air grid, and it's not as combustible as the one here for Team 2's is. But just want to, that might just be the thumbnail, just because that is just artillery's waiting to strike that thing. It's just, I'm waiting for it to be used in the game, just to target that, just to see that go boom. We do see that Blue Lynx is retreating. I mean, I don't blame him. There's a crab and a bunch of other support inbound, and he's cutting straight through, he being Caliber and Frost Monster, cutting straight through, isolating LCR's base, essentially sandwiching it between Thema's forces, which there are a couple of SACUs running around for some reclaim operations, and a Fat Boy. There is a crab that's going to go down. And what's nice about this is either Caliber can go, okay, it's not going to be that advantageous to go straight for the air grid. Let's just cut south and eliminate the entire base of LCR with Theos assistance, and then they can just continue to push north after that if they so choose. It looks like they're out for blood. They're going for Blue Link's commander. I'm assuming they know where, yep, they see him. They want his cold, dead carcass in their hands. Of course, you can't reclaim the ACUs like you can in Bar. I don't even know if they're probably not called ACUs, but whatever the commander units are called. And again, the one thing I like about Bar is even if your commander dies, you can A, revive it, B, reclaim it, or C, keep playing without having to worry about either. It's a really, really cool feature. You're not out of the game just yet kind of thing. But half of that air grid, or 2/3 of that air grid, does go up in a cascade. Essentially, the middle got cut, then this got cut, and this is getting cut. Of course, Megalith targeting all of the P-Gens. There was another Awasa half done. And they did get some work done, but unfortunately they weren't as big ticket items as Team 1's Western Airplay was hoping for. Is there a game ender somewhere? I mean, 42 minutes on the clock. Somebody's got to be thinking about it. Strategic missile launcher started here for Aurelia. That's almost done. Air grid also started for them as well. Blue Link's now hiding behind the experimental that's being built. Love this because, you know, it just acts as a nice little bullet sponge, but of course the mass and energy thrown together to build this is not going to be great, because if it does get finished, it's going to be less viable than if it was newly minted off the lot kind of thing. Ugly, says LCR. Oh, the donut? Why is the donut ugly? It's not ugly. It's a donut. No idea why it's ugly. That they built it? Well, I mean, that's from LCR, but so that's Team 1. Oh. It's an SSU. I was like, is that Blue Link's commander? Blue Link's just gets left alone. He builds a lot of T1 AA spam and just goes, I'm going to sit here and hang out. He has a couple of mexes to his name, but that's it. But look at this. They're going for a different target. They're going to just continue going for the mexes for Blissful Noob. He was sitting at, let's say, 750 at least. And now that number is dropping. His units trying to chase those ones from Caliber. But look at this. I mean, they are Percy's. They are kind of slow. They're starting to catch up. But is it going to be enough? 5 T3 mexes first ringed are going to go down. The radar system that isn't an Omni, it's not really that important. More mexes are going to go down. LCR's commander's like, get me out of here. And Blissful News building more P-Gens. No game renders as of yet. Oh, forgot. I sent my air. What? I must have missed something. Oh, he must have just ordered his air to engage. And Team 2 won the air fight, obviously, because there's still ASFs remain. Oh, you can see some of the remains. I saw an ASF or two, but that's got to hurt. And here come the ASFs protecting those units. P-Gens are going down. More mexes are about to go down. There is a monkey trying to save the day. Monkey is going to be targeted now. It will do some saving. Well, that one thing lost the game. I wouldn't say the one thing, but it's definitely not going to help. You have a giant crab inbound to your main air grid. There is a monkey trying to save it, and the crab can't really target it because its cannons don't turn that well. Or that much, I should say, not well. Well, I guess both, well and much. You can see just thousands of hit points being wiped out. It killed off 102,000 mass. Most definitely paid for itself and then some. Crab's like, I'm going to lose it anyways. Might as well just kill off the monkey. Tons of Team 1 spam. Prevents the incursion of a couple of bricks. There are some shields. Going to prevent some damage to the air grid. We also have the donut over here providing some AA missiles. The crab will not be defeated by the monkey, but there's another monkey inbound and more Percy's. The Percy's literally need to move like 2-3 inches. They could have actually probably saved that crab, to be fair. But the donut's going to do their work for them. And in the northeast, Team 2 is pushing back over here. Caliber looks like he got everything donated from Mythologist. He's going to go for mass T1 spam at this point here shortly. So he has technically dual bases, but he did take a lot, Mythologist specifically took a lot of hits. Spam of artillery to deal with everything down in this lower section of the map here. Canyon, valley, really weird shaped starfighter from something. You have like the two, sides, and then that's where the cockpit sits. It does look like a design from something. I just can't. Oh, wrong button. There we go. It looks like a design from something. I just can't. Oh, it kind of reminds me of, oh shoot. Oh, what's that arcade game where you're the, it's not, is it Galaga? I think it's Galaga. Yeah, like some of the enemy starfighters that you can shoot down. I think it's Galaga. Anyway, it's been a long time since I played that game. There's Galaga, and I think there's Galagin. And then like one is like a Y-wing style. I think that's Galagin, and then Galaga looks like more like an X-wing. Anyway, being sidetracked here. Look at this. Just I mean, if I could get rid of all the, that's not what I wanted. That's also not what I wanted. But if I could get rid of all of like the units and just kind of get a picture of all of the just the structures, look at how many mexers are dead for Team 1. I mean, the mass differential 3.0, 3,000 mass versus Team 1's 1.2. More than double the mass is huge. Obviously, Mythologist only has 1 mass per second, but he gifted it over to help Caliber out with his mass income. Artillery has been started. I feel like that's probably... Oh, there it is. There it is. There's a game ender. Finally, we see one at 46 minutes. And this position might not be feeling well. Pigeon's possibly going to go down, and it does get the nuke. And that nuke was being spam loaded, and we do see some SACUs being upgraded, or I think they're being repaired, I think. But that SACU is not going to feel great. It actually kills out a lot of engineers as well. That crab will go down, but it did get 2 kills. Most importantly, the nuke and the SACU. But he could have got the SMD, which would have been even bigger. Another nuke inbound from Team 2. I don't think we've seen any of them land at this point. I mean, the only explosions I've seen are, of course, the Awasa bombs and comms dying, but that's it. Or SACU dying, but I haven't seen an actual nuke land. So maybe this will be the first one of the... No. Well, it just depends how far this one's over. I think it's in the zone. At this point, if I was Team 1, build a game ender, build something at this point, it does get shot down. I mean, we do have Blue Links alive over here trying to recover, but he's essentially knocked out. He's not doing anything anytime soon. In the middle, nice little land fight going on. Fat Boy, Monkey, Crab, Team 2. Tons of transports with engineers and some Percys on board, I would assume. Yep, they are Percys on board, tucking their legs in, making them more aerodynamic. But this group of units is not going to be long for this world. Chicken being built by Frost Monster. Probably doesn't really need that anymore since he's building the YOLO, which is almost half done. I say almost because it's not 6,000 hit points. It's only 5,900. SACU blows up somewhere. Oh, down here. Blows up down here due to, looks like Monkey and Crab Fire. But it's only a matter of time for the land battle for Team 2 to win this. I mean, just for the mass alone, 3.1 versus 1.4, the gap is getting wider. We see Team 1 invested a lot into experimentals, and yeah, it's starting to come into play with starting to punch in through the middle, through the Midwest, through the Northeast. But it's going to be a slog. We even see units punched in through, actually not punched in, dropped off by Themo, targeting all of the T3 mexes for LCR. And that's not going to feel good. Take out the SMD. Take out the SMD. Take out the SMD. Hear me through the ether. Take that. No. Okay. Okay, just don't listen to me then. Fine, be like that. Gosh, not like this game was already made, already happened, and I'm like reviewing it or casting it after the fact, you know. But anyway. But sometimes I've said stuff and then they actually do it, and I'm like, am I just getting better at casting, or am I just good at predicting people, or is it just luck? I feel like it's a little bit of 3. Oh, look at that donut. Donut goes down due to ASF. That's another dead air unit. Air experimental. It is an air unit, I guess, but air experimental. Where'd that donut go from Team 2? Did that ever get shot down? No, there's one down there. That's for Scuzz. If it did, I don't remember it. Maybe the ASFs from Blissful Noob were tasked to deal with the donut. That's probably, I would have guessed that was probably what happened, and then he didn't end the attack command, and bad things happened. We do see the Fat Boy has lost the shield, still trying to get away from the crab. The crab slowly catching up to it, though. Chicken almost done. We do see that land attack down the middle doesn't really go very well. That crab almost dead. Fat Boy over here. I feel like Team 1 is just delay. Is he going for any big ticket items? No. We see artillery has been started by Aurelia. And also rebuilding the nuke. Probably should just pick one or the other. Finish one, then go to the other kind of thing. Another bomber is going to be built. I don't think that's a good idea. Team 2 has air control heavily. I'd say supremacy at this point, just because I don't really see. I mean, there's that group of ASFs, but that's it. I see ASFs here and ASFs down here, so lots of ASFs in tow for Team 2. Artillery is done for Scuzz. Second one is on the way. I'm assuming he's going for the air grid, or he's going for SMDs. He's going for the air grid, going for that cascade. Not really great at the cascade, though, because, well, it's lined up instead of nice little box that Scuzz has. Still, one shield. That's it. Crime. Crime against Aeons or any, FAFdom. Crime. No shields on your air grid. At 50 minutes, crime. Especially that one's so combustible. I just want to see it blow up. I want to see it blow up, but at this point, I don't know if it's going to happen. If Team 1 gets the artillery online, it might happen, but or the nuke. But the nuke's not as fun, though. I like to see the cascade happen. But Team 2's Themo constantly pushing. Now essentially knocked down LCR from the game. We have Blue Link's kind of back in the game. Not really. He's kind of just been on his own for a while, just rebuilding what he can. You can see the mass income 215, 206, 214 versus 55. Not really a lot going here for this western side. For Team 1 on the eastern side of things, it's kind of just been deadlocked for a long time. We had a decent push here from Aurelia. That got stopped, and we've seen no other further progression besides that in terms of like how far they've gotten. Well, this is a game I tried. I mean, he had 3 bases. He did do a great job. Blissful Noob team was like, what? He was talking to Blissful Noob in all chat. But here comes the gunships. Do they go for the snipe? Do they go for the snipe? They do go for it. LCR is just going to accept it. He does have some AA coverage nearby from Blissful Noob. And it looks like it's just a control K. Or maybe a kill, but no, it was a kill. It just looked kind of weird. But anyway, gunships are now down. Blue Links is fine. His bomber's almost in the green. It's not the one that tick a lot of damage. It does, so it will be done probably right when it ticks into the green. We have another experimental here for Caliber. Another one. 2 of them badly damaged. One of them, below 15,000. This one's at least 25,000. It looks deceptive because it has 5-star veterancy, but 25,000 versus the 1-star veterancy, 12,000. And then, of course, the almost newly minted one at 121,000, which is just an insane amount of hit points. Just insane amount of hit points to have. And we do see the slow march of the crab. We see the bomber has now been completed. It is in the green. It's going to try to stave off death from Team 2, but it is not likely. Artillery took out a chunk of the air grid. Maybe the artillery will be targeted. That's only at, not even in the yellow, not even at 25% yet. This crab, sorry, that's a monkey, excuse me. That monkey gets defeated. SMD gone, says Caliber. I don't think Team 1, oh, sorry, that's Team 1's SMD, not Team 2. Well, there's still an SMD here, not loaded. SMD here, 2 loaded. SMD here, 3 loaded. There are some ASFs online for Aurelia. Another nuke is inbound. Lots of nukes. I don't think we've seen a single one land. Another nuke outbound. And that's the super nuke. The YOLO is now completed. 53 minutes almost on the clock here. First one has been launched. And at this point, I mean, there's really nothing that Team 1 can do. They need 10 miracles times 10 to really just deal with this. And yeah, the SMDs will take out these first set of nukes, but it's not going to do a whole lot. This one out of range of that SMD. Of course, it's not loaded. Kaboom! That one's the first one to land all game. And I can track that by the fact that that one sure just got, yep, 2-star veterancy, 44,000 mass killed. This one at 0 mass killed. This one at 0 mass killed. So, yep, the first nuke. GG, well played. In chat here from Aurelia. YOLO still outbound. That's actually looks like a regular nuke from Thoughtful Pony. Thank you, game, for saying my name. I appreciate it. Another nuke is outbound. And it's just going to be a slow death. That's going to actually kill off Aurelia, trying to get out of range. But unfortunately for you, that is a death. Boom! Takes out a decent chunk of the air grid. Doesn't take out the nuke or the SMD, but goes for the kill. Whether that was intentional or not, it's still a kill. And that SMD, that nuke sitting at 50, almost 59,000. There is artillery. It is going to land at the base. Ooh, There it is. There's a decent cascade. I'd like to see more. Needs somebody to land in the middle. Actually, a good game for once. This caliber. Artillery is being launched from the west. There goes the super nuke. Kaboom! All that goes up in smoke. I'm gonna put a small little slice over here. Oh, there's another section. Kaboom! There goes that. Team 1 did build an artillery. It's over here to the west. Built here by Thoughtful Pony. He's building a Scathis. Don't recommend that. And another nuke is outbound from that YOLO. Artillery's firing at the Scathis. Blissful Noob's going for that position. That's not going to feel good. At least he's using UEF shields and not Cybran. And there goes another cascade. Oh, it's so pretty. Look at that. Just boom, 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 boom. Not good. Not good for that air grid. But again, at this point in the game, 54 minutes. I mean, it was kind of over at like 45 minutes, but still. Not 45. 48 minutes, especially when the YOLO was done. But there comes the YOLO. Blissful Noob. Going to try to get out of range. Actually, no, he's just going to accept his fate. He's going to just kind of circle around. There it goes. Just snipes those engineers. Just trying to build some shields. There goes the spin. The swirl. Kaboom. And there goes the calm. Boom. And of course, there goes the air grid. I saw it. We saw it. There it is. Team 2. 55 minutes on the clock. Kills off another player for Team 1. One player remaining. Blue Lynx, the first of the set of other players that I thought would die from, the incursions by Team 2, but is still alive, still kicking. But I don't think he's going to be kicking and alive for long. He has an Omni. That's good to see. Love to see that. He has an Awasai Bomber. Good to see that. I just want to say Blue did well for 1400. Yeah. I mean, why are you saying filler words in texting? I don't know if he's being facetious or not, but I don't know. Oh, YOLO isn't going to land. It's going to land. There's no transports nearby to pick up the comm. There are, but they're going away. You need to pick up the comm first. That is a death. That is a no-good thing here for Blue Lynx. He already took some damage from the initial blast. And how is that man not dead? Yeah, yeah. Blue Lynx. How is he still alive? He was pretty close to the epicenter of that nuke, and it did not kill him. What? What? Yeah, that's definitely staying alive. Staying alive. That's the song right there. How is he not dead? Well, I mean, there are some gunships inbound. There's artillery, multiple. Now there's 3 of them inbound. Jeez. Second one here for Scuzz. Another one over here for the other Aeon player of Thoughtful Pony for Team 2. Gunships inbound. And at this point, I'll speed that up because not doing well. That is a not good, and I can end the split now just because we saw it go up and kaboom. There it goes. Last play on Team 1 to be defeated. Leaving how much mass on the field? I just want to see how much mass is on the field. 500 plus 1,000 mass in reclaim. But Team 2 didn't need it. We don't know what the totals for reclaim, whatever it is, because it goes gray, which is annoying. But anyways, Team 2 wins the game. They took no casualties. Flawless victory here for Team 2. Great job. They did a very, very good job. I'd say the MVP of the game, I mean, everybody did very well in terms of what they were, tasked with doing, whether that's land or air or a little bit of sea over there. I mean, obviously Mythologist got hit hard on the eastern side, gave everything over to Caliber, who used it very well, dealt with all of the spam down, at least some of the spam down here from Blissful Noob. But I think Caliber's initial push, killing off a comm, gained a ton of ground there. And then, of course, the other kill over here for Count Swagular. I mean, that kind of set up Team 2 for victory a little bit. It took some APM out. Yes, Team 1's highest rated player got a ton of bases, ton of eco very quickly. But Team 2 were able to kind of keep him contained for the most part. I mean, the YOLO wasn't, if you take the YOLO out, Team 2 still wins. Yeah, it kind of expedited things. The game could have probably gone on for another 5 or so minutes. The fact that Blue Lynx survived the YOLO, that's like not great for the YOLO, but I don't know why he survived, and he doesn't know why he survived. He says that's still alive somehow, and he's really happy about it. I mean, I'd be happy about it, to be fair. But if I were to give two shining play, like two call outs, I'd say Caliber and Themo. Caliber, obviously, just because all the crabs, all the just constant pressure. Yeah, there was some mass dumping, of course, but just he really kept the pressure on Team 1, kept them contained, did not let them rest, did not let them be able to just sit in their ivory towers and build eco and go for game enders. Team 1, I mean, they barely went for nukes and artillery because they were constantly fighting off Team 2's advances. And then Themo just kind of kept the western side just there, took the spot, kept it there, didn't allow any sort of incursions from Team 1 over here. And obviously I love to see a cruiser fan. Love to see that. Tons of AA. All the AA. There was no chance of any sort of air snipes from Themo. And he was probably thinking that's where the bombers are going. And I'm just going to rip them to shreds with my SAMs. And he could have if the SAMs didn't die over there. Or sorry, the bombers didn't die over there. But again, I can't really call an MVP for this game because there isn't like one outstanding player. You had some like really good kind of showings and then some really good action from everybody else, but it wasn't like this player did so much kind of thing. And I don't think I can give one, but let me know down in the comments who you would pick for MVP. I kind of have some ideas, but again, for me, there wasn't a really stand-out-ish player. There's some highlights, but again, just a very good game in general. Thank you so much for watching. I really, really do appreciate it. If you haven't done the YouTube things already, please like the video. Please subscribe to the channel. Please share the video with everyone, especially your pets, and I will see all of you in the next one.